Hello all, let's start section 5.5. 5.5 is System of Inequalities. Um, Before we solved linear inequalities. I'll do again a review of it to bring back everything what we discussed before about inequalities. But in this section, uh, mainly we are focusing on how to graph a linear inequality, which is the first topic that I want to discuss. And after that, how to graph a system of linear inequalities. So we are just talking here about graphing. Remember before, few topics that we discussed before. Any equation in the form of ax plus by equals c, we called it a linear equation in two variables, correct? Now, if I change the equal sign to one of these symbols, if I write, for example, ax plus by less than c, or if I write ax plus by less than equal c, or I can write ax plus by greater than c, correct? Or ax plus by greater equal than c. These four forms we called it before, we covered before, we call it linear inequalities. Remember, we solved them. We show our answer on the number line, and we write our final answer in notation form, correct? For example, to bring everything back, if I have, for example, 2x plus y less than equal, let's say 4, correct? To solve this system, we did this. You are always solving for y. First, you subtract 2x from both sides, right? Now, y is less than equal negative 2x plus 4, correct? What is the solution for this system? You can use a table. It means any number that you plug in an x, correct, and satisfy this linear inequality, that order pair, of course you know that, you remember that if you plug in a number, if I want to show it for you, if I choose for some values for x, and it gives me an order pair of xy, then I can say any order pair that satisfies this inequality, we call that one the solution of this inequality, which we covered it before. Now, we are here first talking about how to graph a linear inequality, correct? I will do 4 examples for you, 4 different examples in this part. Then I'll jump to the next part of the lecture and we will discuss how to graph a system. First, we learn how to graph a linear inequality. Then after that, we talk about how to graph a system. Even before starting graphing a system of linear inequality, you know few things about, because the system is linear, the graph will be a line, right? When you have ax plus by equals c, we call this one a linear equation. It means the graph of this equation is a line, right? It always gives you a line. When it's inequality, it's also the graph is a line. But few things to remember. Actually, here I'll give you an easy method. I want to give you an easy method. In your book, they want to pick up at this point. My first example, I do the same. If you like it, go that way. But after the first example, I'll give you really an easy method how to choose which part you have to shade, which part you shouldn't shade, which kind of line you should use. I'll give you all those notes. To explain this lecture, I will start with the example, correct? I'll explain it in an example for you. Example number 1. Let's graph this linear inequality. Let me choose a linear inequality for you. For example, let's start with easy one. Y equals negative 2 third, or let's do a little bit more. Let me change this example. For example, let's choose this one. 4x minus 2y greater equal to 8. How to graph? For example, they are asking you to graph this linear inequality. Some notes. These notes are actually giving you the steps how to graph a linear inequality. Number 1. If your inequality given in the form of ax plus by, for example, greater, equal, less than, equal, greater, and less than c, first thing to do is solve for y. That's your first step. Solve for y means change your inequality in the form of y greater, equal, less than, or less than equal mx plus b. When you are solving for y, we are almost at the end of the semester. You know the forms of a linear equation. Every time, this was the standard form, ax plus by equals 0 or greater. If I talk about equations equal to 0, we call that a standard form. When you write y equal mx plus b, we call it slope-intercept form. That was one of the easiest form that you can graph any line, correct? Now, I just changed the equal sign to one of these 4 symbols. The method is still the same. If your linear inequality is given in the form of ax plus by greater, equal, less than equal c, first solve it for y. How? I'll show it here for you. To solve this inequality, the first thing that I want to do is to solve it for y, I have to move x to the other side. It means I have to add the opposite of x, which is negative 4x, to both sides, right? This is the steps. These two cancels out. Negative 2y greater equal negative 4x plus 8. Now we divide both sides by negative 2. Then we end up with y. Some of you, you're really good. You may remember that every time that we divide an inequality, we divide or we multiply an inequality with the negative number, it's not the class, I'm not in the class to ask you a question. You have to switch or flip the symbol of the inequality, correct? Then y, instead of greater equal, I'll flip it less than equal. Negative 4 over 2 gives you 2, right? 2x minus what? Minus 4. Correct? Now, here you are in the form of y equal mx plus b, or greater or less than mx plus b, correct? Remember this? You see, I'm reviewing actually even the first chapter. When you have y equal mx plus b, we called m slope, right? The slope of the line. And we called b the y-intercept. Remember? The y-intercept is always 0 and b. Why we do that? Because we want to graph it, right? Now, note number 2. Before graphing, I know now everyone says, okay, let's see the slope. The slope is 2 over 1, which is this number, right? And my y-intercept is 0 and negative 4. Easily you can graph. But when you graph an inequality, remember these things that I put here, or these notes that I want to put here for you. Number 2, when you graph a line, if you are dealing with greater or less than, always use a dash line. It means when you are graphing your line will be dashed. Draw a dash line. If you have greater equal or less than equal, always graph your line with a solid line like this. Correct? These notes are important. If you solve on the test day a linear inequality and it's a multiple choice, the same line will be given to you as a dash line, and also the same answer will given to you as a solid line. Which one is the correct? And you say, oh, it doesn't matter, let me choose the solid line, and it's this form. You have only greater or less, then your answer is wrong. Remember, correct? When you graph a linear inequality, when you graph the line, if you have greater or less, choose a dash line. If you have greater equal, less than equal, choose a solid line. Okay, now I am slowly going to graph this for you. Of course, I'm really bad in graphing because my pen is not working very well. It's going everywhere on the pad. I have no control on it. But anyway, y-intercept 0 and 4. 0 and negative 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. This is the y-intercept. Now, following the slope, 2 over 1 means go up, turn right, right? Go up 2, turn 1 right. Here. Then go up 2, turn 1 right. Here. Now, it's the time to graph the line. Which kind of sign I am dealing? Look at your answer here. You have y less than equal. Less than equal is this option. You are dealing with less than equal or greater equal. Then you graph a solid line. correct? Like this. This is the x-axis, and this is your y-axis, and here 0. Correct? Now, we are not done yet. In your book, when you graph a linear inequality, you have to shade the interval that satisfies the linear inequality. What does it mean? Shade the interval or the side of the graph on this graphing that satisfies the linear inequality. It means which order pairs on which side of this line can satisfy the linear inequality. That's the meaning. We shade that side. The shading, the people who are dealing with math, as soon as you shade, they know, oh, the shading side is the answer for linear inequality, correct? They know it immediately. It's a language, correct? Now, which order pair satisfies this linear inequality? In your book, they explain a method. I'll do it like this, but later, after doing that, I'll give you an easy technique, correct, to make your life easier. How to choose which side of the graph I shade. Pick up a test point. It's mentioned in your book. Pick up a test point. Test point means when you choose a point on the from the left side or the right side, it should satisfy the linear inequality, correct? For example, the easy point for me is this point, 0 and 0, right? I'll pick at this point from one side. It doesn't matter which side you choose. Always choose the easy one, correct? 0, 0 is the easiest one. Or you can say, okay, I'll choose 1 and 5. Doesn't matter, but choose an order pair. Please plug in your order pair and the resulting inequality that you saw before. It means this one, if I name this one equation inequality A, plug in it in inequality A, correct? I choose 0, 0. I have y less than equal to x minus 4. I'll plug 0 here, less than equal to times 0 minus 4. And see what's happening. 0, is this less than equal? 2 times 0 gives you 0 minus 4. Is 0 is less than equal negative 4? You end when you plug in, you see, or look for if this statement is true or false. Is 0 is less than negative 4? Definitely not. 0 is greater than all negative number. Then you end up with the false statement, correct? It's a false statement. If you end up with the false statement, the other side of the line will be your solution. The other side means where the points you didn't plug. Like for example, this side is not the solution for me. What I do, I'll shade this side. This side satisfies any point that you pick from this side will satisfy your linear inequality. I know it's too much, right? Then let's make it easy. I'll put some more notes for you how to choose which side you should actually shade to make it easy, correct? Now, note number 3. When you have less than, y less than, or y less than equal, correct? Always shade the lower part of the graph. Look at this example. I shade the lower part of the graph. This is the lower part of the graph, or below the graph, below the line. Shade below the line, correct? Or we call it the lower part, correct? If again you have y less than or less than equal, and you are dealing with the vertical line like this, correct? Shade always the left side. It means, and some people says, when you have y less than or less than equal, shade lower or left. But when you shade the left side, when you are dealing with a vertical line, if your graph is a vertical line, if you are dealing with y greater or y greater equal, always shade the upper part of the graph. Or if your line is vertical, shade the right side, correct? And this one, the left side, or if the graph has a shape, the lower part. And this one, shade the upper part of the graph, or if you are dealing with the vertical line, the right side of the graph. This method avoids testing points, because somehow you are new in this, maybe you choose a test point and you don't know how to choose an order pair, or if even you know how to choose an order pair, you plug in your inequality, and you, for example, choose the wrong inequality, you choose the problem, correct? You plug in there and you don't know what to do. Okay, it falls, let me shade. Okay, falls. That will be wrong. That's why I give you this method, correct? That's why I'm giving you this method. Always follow these steps. Now, I talk too much. Now I do 4 examples for you using my method or using the easiest method. Hopefully you will learn how to graph an inequality, correct? Let's take this one. Uh, for example, 3x plus 5y less than 10. They're asking you to graph. First thing to do is step 1, solve it for y. Subtract 3x from both sides. Correct? These two cancels out. Then you can write 5y less than negative 3x plus 10. Divide by 5. Then y less than negative 3 over 5x plus what? 2. Identify your slope and y-intercept. Be careful. The slope is negative 3 over 5. It means you can go 3 down and 5 right, or you can go 3 up, 5 left. We covered this before. Y-intercept 0 and what? 2. Now start graphing. But your all focus when you graph is on the resulting new inequality. It means this one. This is x, this is y. The y-intercept is 0, 2. When x is 0, y is 2. For example, 1 and 2, this point. From here, I will follow the slope, 3 down, 5 right. 1, 2, 3 down, 5 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This point. Now I am graphing, right? I'm graphing line. I'll focus on this sign. I have less than. it means I have to graph a dashed line. Correct? This is my line. I graph a dashed line. Of course, you use a ruler when you graph. I'm not. That's why it looks really bad, my graph. Correct? Now, it comes to the time that you have to shade it. After you shade, you are done with this problem. You have y less than. When I told you you have y less than, shade the lower part of the graph. It means shade this side. And now we are done. This is the graph of a linear inequality that was given to you. Shade means any order point that you pick from this side, any of them. For example, if you pick -1 and let's say y1, if you plug in -1 and 1 to this linear inequality, it will satisfy that linear inequality. Any point on this side that you pick. Correct? Example number 2. Graph again. You may not see these examples in your book because I don't want to look at the book and put examples. I'll just write here a linear inequality, right? Whatever it comes to my mind, I'll just write a linear inequality. I want to just explain the topic for you, correct? Our goal in this class was to learn the concept, not the actual example from the book, right? Let's say this one. X minus 2y less than equal 4. My step 1, solve for y. Subtract x from both sides. Then -2y less than equal -x plus 4. Correct? Now divide by -2. Then y, I'm a good student. I remember my lectures. I divide by negative number. I'll flip the sign. Greater equal 1/2 of x minus 2. Negative over negative gives you positive. Correct? I'm sorry. Slope 1/2. Y-intercept 0 and -2. Now I'm graphing. X, Y. 0, -2. -1, -2. This is the y-intercept. 1/2 means go 1 up, 2 right. 1 up, 2 right. 1, 2. 1 up, 2 right. 1, 2. Now it's time to connect these 2 points, right? With which kind of line? Focus on this equation. Greater equal, it means use a solid line. Now, which side to shade? Greater equal, the upper part of the graph, right? This is the solution for this linear inequality. They're really easy. They're really easy. It's not a difficult topic, correct? Another example. Y let's take this one. 2x plus y let me show you a vertical one in this one. For example, let's say x greater than 3. A very simple one. You may ask me where is y. To see the complete form of this one, this is x plus 0, y greater than 3. Correct? That's why you can see. Remember I told you, when you have x equals c, you are dealing with the vertical line. If you have y equals c, you are dealing with the horizontal line. Correct? Now, y greater than 3. You have nothing to do here. Immediately stop graphing. You're lucky if you get such a problem. You do nothing, you just graph. X greater than 3. 1, 2, 3. At 3, draw a vertical line. You are dealing with the greater, then draw a vertical dash line like this. Now, which side to graph? Greater, the right side. Correct? And you are done. Last example. Y less than equal -1. I'm dealing with y equals c. It means I'm dealing with a horizontal line. X, y, y -1. For example, if this is -1, at -1, draw a horizontal line. But remember, you are dealing with less than equal. You are drawing a solid line. Now, which side to shade? Less than the lower part. That's it. This is all about how to graph a linear inequality. I don't want to mix it with the system. I'll stop the lecture here and I'll put another video, same section, but we discuss in part 2 of this video, if they give you a system of linear, how to graph them. Correct? System means more than one. Correct? More than one linear inequality. If they give you more than one linear inequality at the same time, how to graph them and where is the solution. Correct? I'll stop it here and see you all in part 2 of this video.